Based on the science fiction novel of the same name by Richard K. Morgan, this Netflix screen adaptation fails to deliver the gritty futuristic punch it promises and instead offers up a half-baked superhero effort. Dystopia is having a moment on television. Last year's airwaves were dominated by The Handmaid's Tale, Westworld and Black Mirror, but Altered Carbon fails to scale those heights. Set in 2384, the world of the show focuses on the digitization of human consciousness, where bodies are now merely sleeves, receptacles for minds. But of course such a world only benefits those who can afford it, and we get a brief glimpse of society in episode 1, as protests are taking place with placards reading, "Spirits not sleeves." WHO is in the cast of Altered Carbon. We witness a confused old woman at a facility that puts consciousness, or stacks, into new bodies, only to realize she is a little girl who was killed in a hit and run and her mind placed in any sleeve that was in inventory. This devastating moment is used to illustrate the injustice of such a system, where the good sleeves are used for profit but simply abandoned to make way for the less interesting plot to begin. No deep existential pondering on the ethics of the human condition here then. Our hero Takeshi Kovacs, played by Joel Kinnaman, is a 250-year-old highly trained disgraced soldier brought back by billionaire Lawrence Bancroft James Purefoy to solve a murder, Bancroft's own murder, in exchange for a pardon. What time does Altered Carbon drop on Netflix? Joel Kinnaman plays Takeshi Kovacs. Suddenly a show that could have been about so much more is reduced to a murder mystery soap opera about an aristocrat who lives in the clouds. A story about the little girl trapped in the body of an old woman would honestly be far more interesting. Kinnaman, however, is undeniably likable in the role and delivers a sufficiently corny performance with quips and one-liners aplenty. "Some people just need killing," he remarks. How charming of a specially trained military combat soldier whose mind has been in digital storage for the last 200 years. Episode 1 sees him struggle with being alive in this new body in this time. "I'm not from this world," he broods, but it lacks substance and never quite manages to evoke any real depth of feeling. How to watch Altered Carbon online. Netflix. Altered Carbon borrows its aesthetics from Blade Runner while aesthetically similar. This is no Blade Runner. The concept doesn't feel new either, as the idea of the digital human consciousness was just explored at length in the last season of Black Mirror. Altered Carbon offers a dumbed-down version of the idea, interspersed with enough ultra-violence and naked women in a misguided attempt to make it more palatable to an audience of action fans. Nudity is everywhere in the first episode, but it feels hollow and pointless. The show grazes the surface of technological advances in the industry but fails to answer any of the questions it raises. Saturday, December 30th, 2017. Vanity Fair. Olivia Cooke leads a star-studded cast for the ITV adaptation. There is of course the issue of whitewashing, which can't be ignored. The writers can claim that it fits the narrative, but how convenient that our hero just happens to be in the body of an attractive, white, all-American alpha male. Despite the cheese, Altered Carbon has all the hallmarks of a DC superhero series and is likely to gain a strong following. Altered Carbon drops on Netflix on Friday, February 2nd.